everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me to find out exactly how much money I've lost auctioning some of my 1 ounce silver proof British Monarchs coins on eBay. Now, for those that don't know, this is now a discontinued series from the Royal Mint, which is a real shame, and don't worry, we're not going to sit here and bash the Royal Mint, I've done that enough. But I thought it would be interesting to sell some of the duplicates that I've got within my collection. I have quite a fair few of them, as you can see from this little spreadsheet showing my profit and loss, which we'll delve into a little bit more as we go. But I think it's interesting to do this and to see, and also share the fact that sometimes you lose money on these kind of coins, and it's okay to do that. It's life, unfortunately. You can't win and make money on everything. A lot of people just ignore that and won't tell you the lows of their experiences, only the highs. But I'm here to show you exactly how much money I've lost. Look, I'm in a privileged position where I can make content here on YouTube and I can claw back some of that loss in the form of YouTube advertising revenue. But I think it's also interesting to do this to see where things are within the market and also how maybe you might want to go about your ownership of these coins. If you've got some of them, you might see the James I coin doing very well and maybe want to try and get out of its position and sell it and hopefully break even-ish. Or if you're holding on to a George I and it's not doing very well, you might want to consider just holding it and seeing if maybe one day it does better. So a lot of information to get through. It'd be great to know what you're going to do having seen these results and whether or not you're going to hold on to them or sell them. If you would like to share your comments, please do so down in the comment section. And if you're not subscribed, give us a little subscribe, because we get 70% of all our views from people who are not subscribed, and it would be great to continue our march on towards 100,000 subscribers. We're at 60k right now. We're doing a very cool giveaway for that. So with that said, let's jump in and have a look at some of the results. So they did range, as I said, from £62 at the very bottom all the way, I think the best one was down here, £96.55. Now there is postage to add on top of that, so I've got all of that recorded over here on my lovely little spreadsheet. And you'll see that in total we have £105.50, which is the highest price somebody paid for these particular coins. So that's kind of cool, you might think, against £99.50 issue price, but of course there are eBay fees and the fact that I have to pay for postage to the person. So all in, I still lost £6.37 on that particular coin, which is not great at all. But across the board, that ranges down from the biggest loss of nearly £40 on one coin to the £6.30 or £3.51 over here on this one, as it had a slightly lower issue price, which I think is very interesting. Now you'll notice there's a few things here that I just want to point out. The eBay fees, for first of all, are very low, and that's because I sold on an eBay seller's fee offer of 80% off selling fees. If you didn't have that, then you would be facing an even larger loss. So very much factor that in if you are looking to sell these coins. There's also these fixed transaction fees for eBay items, which are just there all the time, so it's always going to be 72p plus the fee to do, and then of course you pay for postage. Another thing you'll notice is that some of these postage numbers are very low, and that's because one bidder managed to snag up a whole bunch of the auctions, which is great for them. They saved on postage and I get to bundle it all up into one person, which is fantastic. I also managed to sell one additional of the Edward VII silver proof. The customer wanted to have all 7, he just missed out on the other auction, and so I had a second spare and we've hooked him up, which is fantastic. So all in on all of these sales, I'm down, as you can see, £175.10. That's a fair old loss for sure, and it certainly stings to have that. I will just talk very briefly about the sort of emotions of that. We should put that as a minus, shouldn't we? There we go. It can be hard sometimes to face those losses, and a lot of people, when they have these kind of coins, they just want to sit there with them as a buy it now on eBay and hope that maybe one person somewhere will come along and pay them the right amount. So you can see there's quite a lot of people here very optimistic with their price points. £200 for this, 108, well that's a 2 ounce I suppose, but the point is that no one's going to buy that. If anyone's got any sense about them, they just go to the sold items listing on eBay and they'll see where things are, and you can see that the auctions, which I think is one of the best indications of those prices for market rates, is just very obvious that £200 is not going to happen. So, you know, having that loss, just sometimes you've got to own up to it and look at it. Now, one of the crazy things about this is because these coins are capital gains tax exempt, being UK coinage, even if you make a loss, you can't put that against your capital losses on your taxes and make other capital gains, which is a really annoying thing. So it kind of works against you in that way. It would have been nice to have that £175 offset so that you could release some additional funds from other capital gains taxable assets. But that's sort of in depth a little bit more. But look, £175 losses on that one isn't the end of the world. It's important to remember that things don't always go well, and that's what I wanted to say about that. Now, there's one other thing at the bottom here which I also had, which was the free coin that the Royal Mint gave me as compensation, or a goodwill gesture, I should say, which is more of a sort of middle finger gesture, really, that this coin set was discontinued. So this particular one netted me £126.70 after the £140 price point, with the eBay fees and postage, £126.70 in my pocket. And you can see that if we add the 126.70 here, and remember, this is just the losses from these 8 coins that I've sold, I'm still down £48, and I've still got all the others to sell and lose money on. So, I spent a total of £3,178. At this rate, if we sold, another 8 of these, not another 175, we go minus 175. And then I would imagine that we're going to lose at least £90. Well, maybe let's call it £80 a coin on all of the 2 ounce, and I've got 8 of those. So 8, that's 80 times 8, that's 640. So if I lose 640, there we go. Can't type today. 640 on all of those, and then we add that all up, I'm probably facing around about an £863 loss, and it stings if I sold them all. It really does, but that's the nature of these kind of coins. Sometimes you've just got to think about that when maybe looking to buy some of the coins. And for example, from my own personal perspective now, I don't think I will ever buy a coin from the Royal Mint directly again. It would have to be a really big fundamental shift and change in what we are buying to make me go back to them, because I think I can get it a lot cheaper elsewhere. If there's something I really want, then at some point in the future I will get something from a private seller or on eBay, for example, and it will be a damn sight cheaper than the Royal Mint. So there's sad sort of realizations there, really, I think, which people maybe need to consider and factor in as well. But the other thing to think about, and this is putting a sort of positive spin on it, it's funny how the human brain works on these kind of things. The factor in here is that by releasing the money of the losses, so getting the cash back in, you can look to then maybe reinvest that cash into something else. If you just hold on to something for another 30 years, yes, you could maybe one day claw your money back and get to a break-even point. But at the end of the day, you might earn more than the losses that you incur by having something else in your collection, in your stack, in your investment portfolio. So from my perspective, I have no regrets in selling these at a loss. I just move on from it. I've done it before. I've lost money on coins before. It happens. You make money on some, you lose money on others, and it's just a sort of cyclical process that you need to be aware of. You need to embrace. Sometimes those losses will happen, and in the grand scheme of things, you go into any purchase knowing that you might not get out what you've put in. That's the most important thing. And if you enjoy the coins that you have along the way, then think of it as paying for that sort of enjoyment along the way. So whilst I might be at some point facing a pretty hefty loss, and maybe it will be a bit less than the £863 loss, we'll have to wait and see exactly how that goes. Maybe it will be a bit better, but I feel like, even though that's happening, if we go 3178 and we put that to currency, look at this, we're doing live Excel work. I still have £2,300 which I can put into something else, and I feel like that's more important for me if that was the case. Now, in terms of what I'm actually going to do, I'm probably not going to sell the full set of the 1 ounce proofs that I've got. I will put up for sale all the 2 ounce proofs. So in fact, if we do it like this, so these 2 ounce proofs here will all be put up for sale. So we've got 8 of them there. That's going to be 1,500 quid's worth of issue price silver to sell. I don't know when those will go up. They'll go up when I get the next eBay selling offer, I suspect. But then I will keep all of these other ones. Now, the reason I'm doing that is not because I'm trying to cling on to some modicum of profit on these at some point. But instead I want to do it because I feel like there's a chance that they might do better in the long run, certainly than the results that we're getting for the auctions right now. And the reasons for that are a few. So the first is that the market right now for any kind of collectible proof coin is just doggers. It's awful. It's so bad right now to sell anything at a premium that's a proof coin. I think that market will correct one day. I think those coins will start to do a bit better as the market just resettles from the craziness that's happened over the last sort of year and a half or so. Also, I think that there is a chance, and there's a lot of people who've been thinking this as well, that this series, having been discontinued by the Royal Mint, could be a intriguing little sort of project, or not project, intriguing little collection for somebody down the line. We've got to remember as well that there is micro mintages on these, about 1,000 each on these 1 ounce silver proofs, which is not a lot at all. And for some of them, they won't have sold out from the Royal Mint, and they will have lower than those full maximum mintages. So it will be very interesting to see in a 5-year, 10-year period where these will be. And I feel like that might be the better option for me. And also, I do stand by my, by my iteration that these series of coins is just beautiful. I love it. I love the history of them. There is something about just celebrating British monarchy that is fantastic. And one thing that I will say that somebody, I can't remember who said it, I think it was somebody on the Silver Forum, but somebody put it really well. Any private mint around the world can do a Star Wars coin, and we see the Royal Mint doing Star Wars, coins all the time, or Harry Potter coins and things like that. Anyone can do that. Anyone can make a silver thing that's pretty and looks fancy on a particular theme. But really, the Royal Mint is the only one that could do any justice to the British history of the monarchy. So I do feel like this series might well have some longevity, but we'll just have to wait and see exactly where that longevity will be and how it will come. So very interesting, I think. And some of them did all right. You can break even-ish on them, maybe if you're lucky. You could probably get a private sale for around about break-even price on some of the coins, but it's going to be difficult. Anyway, that's my experiences and that's my thoughts on this. Thank you very much all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you've watched to this point in the video, because if you have, you really do need to subscribe. Otherwise, that's it from me. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you all for watching, and as always, make sure to like, share, comment and subscribe for more.